All right. So, guys, this is a response to Douglas. He wants to know why I think that trailer tire deflation, not inflation, the deflation is useless. He is interested to understand my point of view. Why would I say this? So here's my point of view. I think, to me, we do run a fleet, so we have a lot of trailers. It's not one trailer. If I was the owner-operator with one truck and trailer, I don't know. Maybe my opinion would be very different. But for right now, for a big fleet of trailers, my opinion is this. It's all cost and benefit analysis. So let's talk about it. The tires are meant to run. There is, let's say, a certain number of the cold tire. It can be 100 PSI, it can be 90 PSI, it could be 80 PSI, whatever it is. It's pretty much based on the manufacturer's standard, right? So for the most part, it only has the low number, the suggested number for the cold tire. So the tire is engineered to get hot, to expand, to run under increased pressure. And I would even argue that maybe that increased pressure that tire requires for the best performance is wherever that number gets from the original cold tire PSI setting. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if my tire is set at 100 PSI cold, right? And I think that because the tire inflation systems are a new thing, and the tires are very old, right? So because the number is, let's say, 100 PSI, cold tire pressure, the manufacturers, the engineers who are engineering this tire, they account for a tire pressure increase when it's running.
Right.
So I actually do think it's meant to function the best at this higher PSI. So now if you have the tire deflation, it starts decreasing the air pressure in the tire when it's running because it gets hot and it goes up. And how do you know that you're not running those tires underinflated for the max performance when we do run?
When they're hot.
When we're hot.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
I got you.
So logically, this is my logic. Again, this is a freaking comedy and bullshit show. It's not supposed to be, some kind of
we know everything gurus.
Yeah. So it's my opinion. So other than that, again, going back to cost and benefit, as a fleet, that tire deflation thing, that's another thing to break. That's another thing that I actually seen a lot more problems with than with inflation, because we actually had a lot more issues with tire deflation getting out of control, and it just keeps on deflating. It just keeps on deflating to like some trailers we had like down to 70 PSI. And there is nothing you can do because it's broken.
Yeah.
So I would rather have the inflation only. So it only inflates to the bare minimum of whatever the manufacturer suggests, right? And that's it. And nothing else to worry about. And then the only thing that the driver needs to worry is if that tire looks underinflated, now he knows there is probably something wrong and he can check on it. If we have now inflation and deflation, it just keeps on going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's constantly working. And if it doesn't work properly, now you can be at some really, really bad underinflation numbers.
And then the cost of tire replacement.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is this. I think those tires are not made to be at their best performance at that cold setting number. They are meant to be at their best performance at the number that engineers are projecting will increase once that tire is going to warm up.
Right.
So now if you're running, 1,000-mile trip and those tires are really warm and we still never getting over 100 PSI, are we underinflated for those conditions?
Right, yeah.
So here we go. So this is my point. Again, I don't know. You tell me what you think. I just think, for me, less things to break. tire inflation is more than enough for me. Tire deflation, the tire should never get deflated. And if you're talking about some of those like one-time things where the tire gets a nail and now it gets hot and now it needs to deflate, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's actually worse because I think there is a less opportunity for a driver to notice that deflated tire.
Right, yeah.
Because it kind of keeps it in that normal, somewhat normal, at least visibly normal range. And if you have inflation only, now the driver, every time he starts up the truck, it starts inflating and then it stops. So now the driver can stop and look, like, I think I have a nail.
Yeah, because we've talked about this before too, where newer drivers that have been just introduced into this auto inflation system, are they really even pre-tripping, or is it a false sense of security?
Yeah.
You know, because you see all these, hey, brand new trailer, auto inflation system.
And it's not just the driver, that's us too. Like I had some trailers that we came in with inflation system and we didn't even check, and then a year later, 5 sets of tires later, I figure out that, hey, shit, those trailers are set at 70 psi. And most of the time, that increase part is all good, but the decrease part is no longer working.
Yeah. Actually, one night when we were kind of hammering that out, we replaced the tire for one of our owner ops, and they were here in the yard, and it's 8:00 at night, and we're doing what we got to do, and we're trying to we filled the tire up to 100 psi because they were running hot already. It was kind of just making a pit stop,
and it just starts dumping air.
The minute we connected everything, dropping it
down to 70.
Yeah.
And what we ended up doing, we just ended up disconnecting the stem, so it doesn't even work. We inflated the tires to 100 psi and
bye.
Let the trailer go until a better day, until we get the replacement part. However, that was always the tire deflation was always a bigger breakdown challenge than the tire inflation. Because tire inflation is easy. Even if it doesn't work, the driver can just pump the tires and you're good. If that system is broken and your driver is going to pump the tires to the proper pressure, and if he doesn't know that the deflation is broken, you're just going to dump the air again, and there is nothing you can do. So for us, cost of benefit analysis, that's what we do. That's our thought process. And again, if I'm the guy with only one truck and trailer, I don't know. Maybe I would change my mind.
So you have, who was that, Douglas?
Douglas.
All right, Douglas. So that's it. That's Mike's opinion on why he thinks the auto inflation deflation part is BS. So keep the comments coming, guys. Remember, like, share, subscribe, drive safe, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
And don't forget, guys, we're always looking for great owner-operators to partner up with. We are located right outside of Lakeland, conveniently off of 60. Give me a call, 863-342-5171.